Ladies and gentlemen, we got something special for you guys tonight. We'll see you right back in 30 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to Scoreboard Keepers. You're around here, we don't keep receipts. We keep the score. So if you want to get on the board, make your point. If it makes sense, we'll add it to the board. If it don't, we won't. Scoreboard Keepers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Scoreboard Keepers. I am your host, the Ref, and we have a very special, I would say topic. I wouldn't even call this a very special episode. This is a good topic, man. We have Skip Bayless and Jalen Rose was involved in a heated debate some time ago. The debate was about Russell Westbrook being a point guard. But when you listen to these two go at it, you come to a conclusion, which we won't give just yet, because we want to score the debate. That's what we do here. We don't keep receipts, we keep the score. So you can best believe we're going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb to find out who's telling the truth and who's not. And if you guys are not subscribed, I wish you were here so you can join that locker room down the bottom. You see that locker room down the bottom? That's for guests. So if you were to come here and get on the panel, you'd be able to put your 2 cents in. But since I'm here by myself and I'm scoring this by myself, it doesn't matter what anybody else say. So if you guys want to get involved, I suggest that you subscribe to the channel, come up, and let's discuss this and talk about it, because I'm going through this thing carefully. It gets very touchy at times, but I see the point of both participants. So let's get this thing started. Let's see what they have to say before I start scoring. And before I start this, I'm just going to let you know that Jalen Rose is the home team and Skip Bayless is the guest. Just the way they're sitting at the table there. That's how we're scoring this. So you'll know who I'm putting points up for and who I'm not. And let me tell you something. If somebody makes a point where it contradicts what the other is saying, I will not hesitate to take a point away. Okay? So let's just get this thing rolling. Let's see what's going on here. This is interesting.
Jay Crawford, Skip Bayless, Jalen Rose. Our good friend Stephen A. Smith is going to be along here in just a second from Chicago. And Jalen, good to
Wait. Stephen A. Smith's going to be involved. So you already know that it's probably going to be a little bit of fire to it if he's coming on. All right. It's probably going to be a little bit of fire. So let's see.
see you again. And look, something went down on yesterday's show. If you watched it, you saw it, and you lived it.
Okay.
If not, you may have heard about it. We want to address it. In the course of a conversation about Russell Westbrook being a point guard, Jalen went in pretty hard on Skip's high school basketball stats. If you missed it, listen.
Wait. Jalen Rose went in on Skip Bayless' high school stats. I remember hearing something about Skip Bayless' high school career, and it wasn't good. I will say that. I will just start off and say that I do remember that being a touchy subject for him. So it sounds like we're already starting off on the wrong foot.
The positions were only created so a novice could follow the game. Just because you're a power forward, that doesn't make you physical. Just because you're a shooting guard, that don't mean you can jack up threes. That's just
what were
a
you,
position.
Jalen? What were you?
What were you? Did you
What were you?
Did you average 1.4 points as a senior in high school?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so all of that Pistol P stuff, Water Pistol Pete Jr.
Okay, we'll address that later. We're going to.
Don't ignore that. Did you play junior?
Yeah.
Did you play JV as a junior?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So I
And
follow
what were
you.
you?
That's
What were you? What was your
Uh,
position?
I
That's
had no
disrespect.
position. I have
You
no
were
game.
a point guard.
I have no game.
You were a
That's
point guard.
disrespect.
Am I right?
I'm going to stop. Hold on. I'm going to pause this real fast. First of all, I disagree with what Jalen Rose just said, that the position was created so a novice could do it. Listen, in the NBA, and I would say even high school, these teams have tryouts now. These kids are playing in AAU. Every position on the floor in basketball now is important. So I won't call anybody a novice at any of them positions anymore, even the five, because now the big men are required to shoot 3-point jumpers. It's taken away from the low post. Don't get me wrong, because you know I'm a stickler with that. I don't like big men out on the arc. I think big men should be down in the post, and I think they should be dominating the mid-range game. But they're required to have a lot more in their arsenal now in order to compete at a high level on the floor and for what these coaches want to run. So I'm starting off. I'm disagreeing with Jalen Rose on that, and I also don't like him attacking the man's personal character, calling him Water Pistol Pete. Like, you calling the man Water Pistol Pete? Like, come on, like that's a little bit disrespectful. So I can already see that this is why they're saying that this debate got very personal. So I'm not going to hold y'all up. I'm going to continue because we're about to start scoring this debate.
All right, look, we're a debate show, and that means we take on hot topics. We run from nothing, and we want to dive into this. It took on a life of its own yesterday on the internet. We have only one rule here, and that is authenticity. We need to make sure the viewers at home realize when they turn on the TV, what they're seeing is genuine. And what happened yesterday happened organically, and it is out there. Jalen's back. No one's told you what to say. We have no idea where you're going with this. But what we want to do is, after you look at that, what's your reaction? Do you still stand by the way you approach that?
We're a debate show,
yeah,
as you mentioned. We're not a reality show. And it's up to us to say what's in our head, say what's in our heart as it relates to topics. What normally happens when you debate, whether you're at a barbershop or whether you're on ESPN First Take, sometimes the debate can get personal based on the person's tone. So if I hear somebody...
Oh, wait, I got to pause. First of all, whether you're in a barbershop or anywhere else, debates, you can be in a bathroom. You can be out in the backyard. If you're debating anybody and anything, the tone is always going to be above what a normal person's voice would be. So with him talking about tone, you don't need to be in a debate if you're expecting somebody to talk to you regular during a debate. That's not going to happen because obviously emotion is going to get involved in because they're passionate about what they're discussing. So I disagree with that, Jalen. I disagree with that. You got 3 points so far, but I disagree with you saying that it's going to get personal just because of a person's tone. It shouldn't matter. This is what passionate debates do. You have to be able to control yourself and be able to make your points without taking it personal. You making me think that if you're taking it personal, for me personally, if you're taking it personal, that means you're losing. You're taking it as some type of disrespect when all it is a debate. So I disagree with that, Jalen. But you did get on the board. 3 points. Let's go.
Somebody saying something negative about me to attack my credibility as a person and as a player, something that I invested 20 years in playing middle school, high school, college, pro.
Good point.
I'm invested in this. Like, my father was the #1 pick, God rest his soul, in the 1967 draft. Like, I dedicated my life to basketball.
Good point.
So if I feel like somebody wants to cross the line and challenge how I feel about the game, I study this, I do this, I took it personal. And that's what happened yesterday in our debate. I did take it personal, and I'm pretty sure he took it personal how I responded. It was a trending topic on Twitter. A lot of people were talking about it.
It was hot.
And, but as we mentioned, this isn't the Maury Povich show. I'm not an actor. I wasn't You know, I don't have a hand up my back of somebody telling me what to say, and we just went there.
Yeah.
Okay. So far, okay, I agree with the last couple of points that he made. It's not the Maury Povich show. It's not. It's not the Maury Povich show. I agree with you. And nobody should be telling you what to say. And nobody should have their hand up your back like you're a puppet. I agree. But if you're taking things personal on live television, all because somebody's tone is raised or they said something that may have gotten under your skin, now we have problems. Because you're telling me that this person has now gotten under your skin. So now you've taken this thing personal, but you never said whether it was the truth or whether it was a lie. Because if it's a person telling the truth, then it shouldn't matter what they say, right? It shouldn't matter what they say. So Jalen, we're having a few issues right here. Me and you, we're having a few issues because I don't think that you should be on a debate show taking things personal because you're debating. Now, you can't get on a show like that and forget why you're there. Now, if you're debating, state your case. You have to state your case. That's the premise of the show. That's why you made it to the Scoreboard Keepers, because we're keeping score of what you say here. But I disagree with you taking things personal, man. That's not the place for it. You know, you could, and even if you do, you guys can discuss it and work it out and say, listen, you can, as a matter of fact, you can work it out before you even get on the show. But you're not going to set those kind of rules, because then a person's not going to want to debate you. What's the purpose of you being there? Let's continue, people.
You and I talked about this after the show, and I told you I was offended only because you leaped to a conclusion based on what you read out in the Twitter sphere or blogosphere.
Right.
Oh.
And this all began, as you now know, with a tweet of mine of, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago.
Wait a minute. Did Jalen just confirm that he heard something on, or he read something in the Twitter sphere, and then he repeated it before confirming it with Skip? Is that what he just said? Oh, man. Skip, that was a good point, man. That was a good point that you brought up, because I did not know that. So now we're already starting off with him not having the full information. Skip, you're on the board, my man. You're on the board. Let's go. Let's ride.
That was 100% accurate, but thanks to the 140 character limit, was about 5% of the real story, which, again, you and I shared yesterday.
Ooh.
You shared some stories with me that were similar on your much higher level. And I only talk about this because now my integrity and credibility have been questioned by many of my Twitter followers. Did you exaggerate this? Nope. Did you lie about it? Absolutely not.
For those that may not have seen the tweets, try to, I know it's tough, but what was your original tweet?
Okay, the original tweet began with, and again, this is 3 sentences and 140 characters. I thought twice about doing a second and third tweet to expand upon the topic, because it's a much deeper story to me. It's my nightmare story.
Right.
It's in fact what propelled me to sit in this seat. The frustration that was caused to me in my high school career propelled me to become a member of the media and talk about basketball. So it's the basis of why I'm here.
Okay.
But the original tweet began that in 9th grade, I was asked to go to a big basketball camp, area statewide, that was run by the Iba family of.
Wait a minute, Skip. I'm going to take a point away from you, Skip. I'm about to take a point away. Some of you may disagree, but he just said that he considered putting out a second or a third tweet because there wasn't enough characters inside of the Twitter sphere in order to put it out. So he only put out partial information. So you shouldn't have thought about it. You should have done it if you wanted the 100% authentic information out there. So you only gave people a snippet of what you said. And basically, if you wasn't going to say it all, you probably shouldn't have said it at all. If you wasn't going to say it all, you probably shouldn't have said it all. So I got to take a point away from you on that, because it's 7-6 Jalen right now. 7-6 Jalen, because you just admitted that you put partial information out there. So I don't know how we're supposed to receive partial information. Everybody's going to speculate because you put it out there in social media. So that's your fault. Let's go. I'm deducting a point from that. 7-6 Jalen.
Henry Iba fame at Oklahoma State, the mentor to Bobby Knight.
Legendary coach.
Legendary. I won MVP of that camp. Many kids who went on to play at high levels in Division I. And I thought I was Pistol Pete Maravich, as you said. I was probably more, what'd you call it, Water Pistol Pete? I probably exaggerated in my head just how good I was. But I thought I was pretty good.
I think at some point or another, we're all guilty of that.
We're all guilty.
Okay.
So then I go to play for a legendary coach in high school at a big program, at the biggest school in the state, Northwest Class High School in Oklahoma City, and he hated my game. He didn't like me. I was a three-point shooter and a gunner before there was even a three-point line. He wanted me to be a point guard, and I felt like I didn't have the aptitude nor the desire to distribute the basketball. I didn't get it. I don't have the gift that you had. You could definitely run the point. You could score too, but you had the feel for the game, the vision to anticipate when a player's coming up. I had zero of that. So I went through a nightmarish sophomore year in which we won the state championship. I went through a nightmarish junior year in which the coach forced me, as you pointed out yesterday, to play, we called it B squad, forced me to play B squad to learn to be the point guard, then suit up and play the varsity game at night. Right. I went into my senior year thinking, finally, I got my shot. I'm going to be the guy coming up next year. Okay. And what happens the first day of school? I look up, and my legendary coach has transferred in his son from Southeast High School on the South Side to play for him. Wow. And
wait a minute. Wait a damn minute, Scott. Ooh, Skip, you dropping bombs. Whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, we've all played sports. That's one hell of a ride right there. That's one hell of a ride right there. The coach brung in his family. The coach brung in his family and put his family over you. That's what we call daddy ball, nepotism. That they call that. Listen, that's daddy ball in its purest form. In its purest form. And let me tell you something. As I'm listening to Skip Bayless, right, I can tell you right now that he is passionate. He's hurt by this. Look at his face. I mean, he just dropped 15 points. Rapid fire. Hand in the air, pen in his hand. He's taking notes. This man is passionate about what he's talking about right now. So this is not just about no reporting. This man, it's not about being a journalist. This man is passionate about talking about whatever it is that Jalen Rose brung up. Let's go. Scoreboard keepers, man. Scoreboard keepers. Let's go.
Did start for that team, but not for long, because the coach's son was soon the guy. I played a lot that year, but I lived in fear of even taking a shot in a game. When you hit me with the stat, I looked it up last night. I think it was 1.8. I was shocked it was that high because I can barely remember taking shots in games. All I did was do what Henry Iba wanted. You feed the post. I fed our postmen who went to Kansas State on scholarship and University of Houston on scholarship, and they were really good players. But I would start to shoot and hesitate. I was scared to death. So by 2/3 through the season, I got in his doghouse again. I clashed, I rebelled, end of bench. That was the end of my career. That's exactly what happened to me, and it killed me. It was the worst experience of my sports life.
Do you know how many players,
Wow.
high school, college, and
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Listen. Slow it down, everybody. Pause. Slow it down. That man just ran off a rapid fire of basically his childhood sports career. Anybody that's played sports, that's come up around, I don't care what sport it is, you always remember something from your youth. I don't care whether it was your first helmet. I don't care if it was your first soccer ball. I don't care if it was your first bat for baseball. I don't care if it was your first glove. I don't care if it was your first hoop outside. You remember things like that. And it's nothing worse than running into a coach that loves to play daddy ball, even though you may be more talented. You may be more talented than that individual. But here you are dealing with the daddy ball syndrome. So I can tell that even though that's a grown man sitting up there, Skip Bayless is grown now. I can tell that he is absolutely scarred. He's speaking with fire right now. He's talking with his hands. He can't sit still. This is passion coming out of this man. And let me tell you something. If any athlete that's been, wronged or done any kind of way when they were a youth, they remember. They remember it. It's something you won't ever forget. You know what I mean? And it's like a first impression. And it's a lasting one. You have some people out here now that's played sports that they got a taste of that sport one time and they ran into some type of issue and they never went back and never played it again. Some regretfully. But I see where Skip is coming from right now because he's not telling them, right? He hasn't said it out loud. He hasn't said it out loud yet. But he did say that was the end of his career. He said that was the end. He said that was the end of his career. That was the end of his career. So, wow. Just imagine that. How many people play youth sports don't have the dream of going to college? Everybody that's playing sports. You dream of getting a scholarship. So just thinking that he sounded like he was rebelling too, because he kept saying that he was in the coach's doghouse. He was in the coach's doghouse, and I'm telling you, he looked like he running away from Jalen right now on that scoreboard, 21-7. He said that he was absolutely in the coach's doghouse, so he was probably, and Skip is, I believe he's from Texas. I believe he's a Texas kid, so he probably got a little piss and vinegar to him, But it's amazing, man, that that you could see this. You wouldn't know. You probably wouldn't expect it, but it's coming from his side, and being as though that he's a reporter and a journalist right now. As an athlete, you may not respect that because it was on that level, on high school level. So you're not even on a professional level where they can even understand. So, but we're gonna go back a little bit, okay? We're gonna go back a little bit because we want to hear what Jalen came in with. So let's ride.
High school, college, and pro can have that story. So imagine how they feel when you're on national TV for 4 hours a day and you're talking about the plight of their life on a national forum, but they don't have a chance to tell their story.
Yep.
Wait a minute, Jalen. Just because they don't got his job or doing what he's doing, it doesn't mean that they can't tell their story. They can still tell their story. They just can't tell it on that type of platform. So I'm hesitant to give you, I want to give you a point because you're trying to make a point right now, but that's not a good point to try to make because everybody can tell their story. It just won't get out to the level of people that Skip can reach. But trust me, somebody, you telling your story, you're just not telling it on this platform. So I can't give you a point on that. I know you're trying to make one, man. You're reaching right now, though.
And also what has happened in
Okay, well, you had a similar occurrence.
Right, but also what has happened in media is the line has been blurred between a reporter and an analyst. Now reporters are analysts.
Good point.
An analyst normally is somebody that has experience that have done something.
Let's clarify something. Skip was a columnist.
And a reporter.
Yeah,
I
you
agree.
started as a reporter, right? I mean, it's not as though you don't know the beats of being a reporter, but technically, when you go from being beat reporter to columnist, you're now not writing so much about the unfolding of the game. Now he is being paid to analyze the game and to opine and to write.
Okay, so Jalen has a point there because he's saying that an analyst is normally somebody who has done something. So Skip has played the game. He just hasn't played it on that level. But the things that he talked about, if you've ever read or listened to Skip Bayless, some of the things that he says and that he writes about are as if he played on that level. So basically, he's actually looking at it from his high school level, not realizing that it's a whole nother ball game on that platform in the NBA. So I understand what Jalen is saying. I understand where he's going with this, with this thought. He's basically saying that, you may be able to talk about high school basketball, but, when it comes to NBA, you just basically, it's just your opinion and you may not be qualified to analyze that particular sport. You can give your opinion, but when you start to analyze things, you need to have some type of experience, a little bit of a resume to talk about some of these players, man, or else they just won't respect what you're saying. That's why it seems like his high school career is coming up here from Jalen Rose. All right, let's go.
The way he sees the game. So it's not as if.
So wait a second. Are you suggesting that you have to have played at a high level to?
No, not at all. If that was the case, then a lot of women wouldn't be able to report in sports because they don't have certain pro sports for women.
Sure.
Great
so
point.
that's out.
Great
But
point.
what I am saying is, this is why
Great
I
point,
got
Jim.
into it.
Okay.
Mass communications was my major in college. This would be my 10th year covering the NBA Finals. Done NFL, done boxing. I've never did it in a 15-round fight.
Right.
So I get that. But what happens is, there's a difference between reporting what you say, reporting what you see, and name calling. Like when you name call, that makes it personal. Bosh Spice, Queen James.
Now, time out. No.
Now that crossed the line.
I don't do Queen James. I've never done Queen James.
It's Prince James.
Prince James.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay, but I invited anybody, including you, to come sit there and let's talk this out. Did Chris Bosh come and sit there? Did he? Yes.
But
yes.
you got to take their side of it. Them coming to sit here really validates you. It really validates your show because you talk negative about me. I've seen countless athletes, and I talked to Charles Oakley about this. I've seen countless athletes come on this show after their teammate or their good friend got ripped. And that's how people see it from the outside looking in. Oh, he doesn't like Michael Vick, so he's going to pump up LaShawn McCoy. Oh, he doesn't like.
Wow. See, now that's saying something right there. If he's basically, Jalen is saying that you have picks because, you're talking about these athletes, right? And then you're inviting their friends up on the show, and they're basically validating you. But guess what, Jalen? If they were truly friends, they wouldn't be up there. And if they were friends, they would probably come on there and bring up the issue that's at hand. If you were talking about my teammate, I'm more than likely going to bring it up, especially if it's something that I didn't like. I would probably use that opportunity to bring it forth on the platform to question them about it. But I can't sit here and say that these guys absolutely went up on that show prior to the knowledge of them knowing what Skip did, and just didn't and don't know what Skip's about. Because everybody knows what Skip Bayless does. So this is not anything new to anybody. He's been doing this for years. So if you go, Skip Bayless is liable to say something out in left field about you. He may say something out in left field because his opinions are, they're all over the place. You never know what he's going to say. And that's why he says what comes to his mind. But who wants a disingenuous journalist? Who wants that? No, I want you to tell me what you really feel. That's what that job's all about. We got a tight game right now, 22-21. You was laying some points down, Jalen, but like I said, I had to, I got to check you, man. When I'm going to check you if you need to be checked. Let's go.
LeBron James, so now it's all about Dwayne Wade. Oh, he loves Kevin Durant.
Jalen.
So now we're going to get all on
Let's bring in Stephen A. Stephen A., go ahead. Make a point.
Oh, hold up. Okay. All right. So we got an outside source coming in now. We got an outside source, right? And I'm going to tell you how I'm going to score this. I'm going to score I'm going to score this based upon the points he makes for whichever individual. Whatever individual he makes the points for, okay? And it's not biased, I will add the points. Okay? I will add the points. But if he's saying anything that has anything to do with any bias, or if it's not making any sense, trust me, I will not add the points. I will not add the points. Let's hear what he has to say, because I'm very curious as to where we're going with this, because he's another one that played he played college basketball, but he never made it to the NBA. So he has a history in sports also that's not as successful as Jalen Rose that's sitting on the panel right now. So let's see what he has to say. This should get good, y'all. This should get good. Let's see.
Jalen, Skip Bayless, I need y'all to be quiet and listen to me. Because let me tell you something right now. I'm disgusted with both of y'all. I can't believe this is even a subject. Both of y'all are my friends. Both of y'all I've known for many years. Skip Bayless as a colleague, Jalen Rose, I'm proud of you. There are many times that many people have said stuff about you. I know that you are a baller, but I also know what kind of person that you are, and I also know the great things that you do in the city of Detroit and all of that other stuff. And I'll vouch for both of y'all characters. But the fact that this is even a subject has me so completely disgusted with y'all. If I was alone with y'all off camera, I might slap both of y'all. And I mean,
whoa with the violence, Stephen A. Whoa with the violence. Slow down with the violence, man. I see what you're saying, but slow down with the violence. I mean, he came right out and said that he's disgusted that this is even a topic. Remember what I said when we first started? I said that no matter where you go in life, you're always going to remember that first encounter in sports. It could, I don't know what it could be. It could be like a hit in football that said, I'm not playing this no more. It could be you getting your first basketball, your first baseball, your first baseball bat. It could be anything that sticks with you throughout your entire career. So no matter what level you reach, no matter where you go in life, that is something that you're going to have imprinted in your database for the rest of your life. I don't care. So we're looking at two guys here, right? Arguing about or debating about a topic. But I'm telling you right now, you can hear the passion. And look at Skip Bayless' face. You gonna tell me that man is not passionate about what he's talking about? Something hurt him. And at this point right now, I would have saw that. Because when he said Jalen went and pulled up that stat and they was calling him Water Pistol Pete, that hurt that man. That hurt that man. So it may be Jalen may have been trying to diss him, but let me tell you something. That topic right there is touchy to him, and you can tell. Now, should it be off limits? No, because at some point it has to come up. So neither should he. He shouldn't be taking it personal either. Nobody should be taking this thing personal because it's a debate. And you're debating on sports. So, of course, your sports career and your sports history is going to come up, Skip Bayless. It's going to come up. That's what it's for. Everything's on the table when it comes to sports. Now, if he's talking about your mama, that's something different. If he's talking about somebody in somebody in your family, that's something different. But we're talking about sports here. But again, I'll give my final opinion on this after I see it all. But right now, I can tell that one man reached to the NBA and the other guy didn't make it out of high school. And it's sports. And sports is competition. It's competitive. It has a competitive nature. And sometimes that competitive nature never leaves an individual. You take it out in life with you. Let's go.
That affectionately, of course, because y'all would probably beat me down if I did such a thing. But let me be very serious about where I'm coming from here. Skip Bayless, you have been a journalist and a columnist for over 30 years. You were a columnist in San Jose. You were a columnist for the Los Angeles Times. You were a columnist for the Chicago Tribune. You were a columnist for the Los Angeles Times. You don't have anything to prove to anybody about your resume. Tell them people to go kick rocks. You've earned it, okay? That's number one, all right? Number two, all right, with you, Jalen, yeah, I understand stuff gets personal and all of this other stuff, but let's talk to this other side about athletes. And we're not talking about you here. We're talking about the modern-day athlete. They can get a bit sensitive. There's a lot of stuff that they can't take. What about the contemporaries within the athletic world that talk about each other, that run to reporters behind the scenes, literally giving us information to talk about their own colleagues? Nobody brings that up. Nobody brings up.
Wait a minute, Stephen A., are you saying they snitching? Stephen A., what you talking about? I know you ain't saying them. What? Huh? I got to go back a little bit on you? Let's go back. What?
That run to reporters behind the scenes, literally giving us information to talk about their own colleagues. Yes, nobody brings that up. Nobody brings up the fact that these same guys that talk all of this smack, that get all sensitive, actually want to come and do what we're doing when all is said and done. Number three, did you question Howard Cosell when he didn't box? Did you question Bob Costas when he didn't play baseball? Did you question Jeff Van Gundy or Stan Van Gundy when they never played the game?
That's a different type of
plethora of individuals in the world of sports. Hold on.
That's a different type of media, Steve.
In the world of sports.
That's a different type. We live in a media cycle
I'm
now
not debating that.
where they're talking heads 24/7, 365.
I'll let you talk.
Hold on, Jalen. Jalen, you looking tight. Hold on. Look at Skip's face now, people. 27-21. Look at Skip's face now. He looking like, yeah, buddy. Yeah. He looking like, yeah. Stephen A. is lighting some fire under you right now. Whoa. Skip, look at Skip's face now. That's a different look. That's a look of understanding. Like, you understand exactly. It was like, Stephen A., you saying exactly what I was thinking. And Jalen, you looking tight right now. Bro, you looking super tight. Wow. Man, that was something else right there, because I mean, Stephen A. was dropping his own points, but he ain't on the board. But he was not dropping them for any particular contestant tonight. He was dropping them for himself. But he ain't officially on the board. But if he was hitting 3-pointers. He was kicking 50-yard field goals just now. But unfortunately, you ain't on this board right now, but you making some hell of a points. And let me tell you something. I did not know that these guys was running around here volunteering information. That's interesting. That's probably how that Draymond Green and Jordan Poole thing got out too from Golden State, when Draymond punched Jordan Poole. Actually, it was a camera in there. Who was around with that? Who leaked that? That make you go, who did that? I forgot about that. That wasn't just a rumor. It was video footage of Draymond Green stocking Jordan Poole in practice. And somebody leaked it. You would think that would have never gotten out. But anyway, Stephen A., you cooking right now. And you got Jalen looking like he's in the frying pan. You know what they say when the kitchen get hot. Listen, get out of the kitchen, man. You got to get out of it. Listen, if it's too hot in there, you got to get out. All right, let's see what's going on. Let's roll.
I let you talk. Let me talk. What I'm saying is, I'm not disputing that. All I'm trying to say to you is that there are plenty of people who want to come here and do what we do. Now, you've got people that are professional athletes that sit there and say, well, you know what, a journalist, you're giving your opinions, your name calling, or whatever the case may be, which is something I don't name call, but they say, oh, you know what, this is what they do. Well, guess what? Why do they want to do this job? Because they want to get paid, and behind these very contemporaries and colleagues' backs, they go and they do the same thing. It's hypocrisy. So
wait, Stephen A., did you just double down? You just double down on it? And Jalen looking, Jalen, you look like you got your hands caught in the cookie jar. Jalen, you look like you got your hands in somebody's pocket right now. If you don't get your hands out my pocket. And Skip looking like, That's what Skip looked like. Man, I don't know, Jalen. I don't know. This is a tight game right now. I hope you loading up, man. Let's go.
When you look at the Twitter world or anybody else and any of the things that they have to say, tell them to go kick rocks, because really what they want to do is they want to do what we're doing, and because they're not in this position to do what they're doing, they got a problem. You know how many people want your job, Galen, that's working in the NBA right now, that's playing in the NBA, that are starving to come for your job so they can whine, moan, and do the same kind of things. They talk about me all the time. All right, I went to Winston-Salem State. I didn't play much, cracked my kneecap in half my first year, but I learned the game from Big House Gaines. I learned the game.
Wait, he went to Winston-Salem State. And he must not have did nothing. He said he hurt his knee. Let's hear that again. He said he went to Winston-Salem State and he messed his knee up. Let's hear that again. Let's go back. Hold on. Let's go.
State. I didn't play much, cracked my kneecap in half my first year, but I learned the game from Big House Gaines. I learned the game from John McClendon, two names that were responsible for integrating the sport of basketball. And then when I became a journalist, I learned from John Chaney, and then after that, I covered Larry Brown every day for 7 years. That's Big House Gaines, John McClendon, John Chaney, and Larry Brown. I don't care what anybody has to say, and neither should y'all. Stop worrying about the Twitter world. Tell them to go kick rocks. If we weren't on television, I'd show you what to say to them, okay? If you could get my drift. Stop worrying about all of that nonsense. We are here doing what we do. If they don't like it, get over it. We ain't here to make friends. We here to tell it like it is. Let's move on.
I want
Facts. So let's stop right there. Facts, because Stephen A was dropping facts. He's absolutely right. Whatever goes on in social media has nothing to do with them reporting the truth. They can say whatever they want to say, because at that point you're letting social media dictate what's coming out, and that's the truth. And that's a lot of that going on right now. That's why we here to keep score, because we want to hold you accountable for what you say, what comes out of your mouth. If you want to debate it or whatever, we're gonna keep score. So it ain't just flying off the wall and hoping something sticks. And then we got that locker room down there where we'll have a panel coming in there and then they can chime in. I don't know what y'all waiting for. But let me tell you, he's right. Stephen A is absolutely right. And I don't always agree with what he says, but let me tell you something. He's absolutely right on that. Because the only thing that matters is that they're coming out with their information to be truthful to what they know. And that's all they can do. That's the best they can do, is be as truthful and be as dedicated to their information as possible. Because outside of that, it's just all talk. Everybody has an opinion. But if that opinion is starting to affect your work and your job, that it has to stop. It should stop. And nobody else should be dictating it at all. And Skip's looking vindicated, and Jalen, you looking like you thinking of looking for something to find out to say. I don't know what's going on here, but you look like you're looking for something to say, man. But I hope you got something strong, because right now you're down. You're down by 6 points. Skip is up right now. And this is only part one, people. I just want to let y'all know there's a few other parts to this. You won't get them all tonight, because I want y'all to comment on this one before we do the next one. That's why we're going to leave it where it is when this video is done. Let's go. Let's hear what he has to say.
You guys to understand
Stop wasting
something,
our
though.
time with this nonsense.
This is a national forum, and when you
That's
talk
very
about
true.
somebody's character, when you talk about their game, when you question their integrity, that's their likeness. That's how they eat. That's how they feed their family. And Stephen,
point.
I'm going to give you
Hold
an
it,
example
Jalen.
because it's all love. I'm going to give you an
You
example.
have?
I'm going to give you an example. How do you think Kwame?
Wait a minute, Jalen. The man just said, you just made a statement that you're guilty of. And Stephen A called you out on it and you ignored it. You said this is a national forum. So when you say something about somebody, this is the way they eat, because this is their likeness and this is their name. And Stephen A says, so what? You have, and you ignored it. So guess what? I'm taking that point off. 27-21. You down by 6. Because Stephen A is absolutely right. So let's go back. We're going to go back to where he was talking. Let's go.
That's how they feed their family. And Stephen, I'm going to give you
Hold
an
it,
example
Jalen. You
because
have?
it's all love. I'm going to give you an
You
example.
have?
I'm going to give you an example. How do you think Kwame Brown feels when you say Kwame? How do you think Rosh on the stair?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of part 1 of this debate. And I'm going to leave it like that until you guys comment, like, share, and subscribe, and let me know how you feel about this one. I'll do the second one if you guys comment on the first one and come in and join some of these debates and some of these topics on how we're going to score them, because I want to make sure that I'm being as fair as possible to what's going on. I want to be as fair as possible to all the information, because this is an absolutely great debate. It's a great topic too. It's a great sports topic to be talking about. And that's why I chose this one. Because it's really interesting, and it actually has no lifespan. Like this topic right here is going to go on for years as long as people still playing. But these tapes and stuff is like fine wine. Over time, you'll find out whether the truth was being said or not. And then you'll know what to look for the next time. But I want y'all to comment on this particular video, and I'll get into part 2, depending on the response to this one. And this is interesting, man. It's really interesting. And let me tell you something, you guys are going to thoroughly enjoy it. And I want you guys to come up here and get involved and show your support for whoever. You can get up here and support whoever. If you think a point should come off of that board, tell me why, and if it makes sense, I'll take it off. If a point should be added, I'll add the point. But right now, the way this is looking right now, Skip Bayless is in the lead right now. Simple as that. And like I said, we don't have no favorites around here. We don't have no picks. And we don't keep receipts either. We keep the score. So whatever you say, make it make sense. You know what I mean? Because we're going to hold you accountable here. So ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude this episode. We have a few more to go on this particular one. And I'm just asking you guys to come on over. As you can see right now, this is the score. You know what I mean? 27-21. Skip Bayless is up over Jalen Rose. And it's not over because the game's not over. This is like the end. This is like the end of the first quarter right here because we got a few more to go. But like I said, I'll do them after after I see the comments on this particular show, and we'll go from there. So until the next time, I see you guys on the next episode of Scoreboard Keepers. Score.